record.
You and Microsoft Games CEO Phil
Bullshit.
Please welcome to the stage Sarah Bond, president of Xbox at Microsoft, for a conversation with Bloomberg's Dina Bass.
Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today. So I want to start talking about the industry in general. You and Microsoft Games CEO Phil Spencer have been raising kind of the alarm that the video game industry is just not growing, and there's a real need to figure out how to...
It's not growing, but it's bigger than Hollywood. Get the fuck out of here.
Reverse that. What's causing the issue, and how does Xbox turn it around?
Yeah, the last year or so in video games, largely the industry's been flat. And even in 2023, we saw just some tremendous releases, tremendously groundbreaking games, but still the growth didn't follow all of that. And a lot of that's related to our need to bring new players in, make gaming more accessible, but
It doesn't need to be more accessible. Not everyone needs to play shit.
all of that has been happening at the same time that the cost associated with making...
Stop having inflated fucking budgets for trash fucking monetized games. Not every fucking game is a mobile game. Not every game needs to be accessible, Sarah.
making these beautiful AAA block...
Not every game needs to look beautiful or AAA or blockbuster. Sony's not making money on their first-party exclusives and first-party titles, Sarah. Why are you spending all this bullshit money on shit that nobody buys?
blockbuster games is going up, and the time it takes...
Well, that's because you're wasting your money spending years fucking developing bullshit. It takes 7 years to make a game. Why the fuck is it taking 7 years to make a game?
to make them is going up. And so much of our focus as Xbox is about how we do things to help the industry all up, while also ensuring that our brand, everything that we do is there through this moment of transition.
Moment of transition.
Related to some of the trends you're identifying, earlier this week, Xbox announced the shuttering of 4 game studios. I know you're not the studio's chief, but how should gamers understand that move in terms of Microsoft's commitment to developing innovative exclusive games?
Yeah, it's always extraordinarily hard when you have to make decisions like that. I'll go back to what I was saying about the industry, and when we looked at those fundamental trends, we feel a deep responsibility to ensure that the games we make, the devices we build, the services that we offer are there through moments, even when the industry isn't growing and when you're through a time of transition. And the news we announced earlier this week is an outcome of that.
But you got $70 billion to buy Activision Blizzard out of a $3 trillion company. Come on now. $3.06 trillion in value.
And our commitment to make sure that the business is healthy for the long term.
Shutting down studios is not commitment, Sarah. Shutting down studios is not commitment.
But that said, our commitment to...
That's a lie.
Having our own studios and working with...
Having our own studios. Which ones? The ones that got shut down or the ones that are going to be shut down?
Partners have games large and small.
Like what?
We're a platform where you can play GTA, but you can also play Power
Everyone plays GTA.
World.
Yeah, cool. Power World's also on PC.
where you can play Call of Duty, and you
Call of Duty's on PlayStation as well.
can also play Pentiment.
Pentiment, nobody bought.
That doesn't change. And frankly, our commitment to Bethesda and the role that it plays.
If you're committed to Bethesda, why'd you shut down Arcane and Tango, which are a part of Bethesda and ZeniMax? You're not really committed, are you now, Sarah?
Is part of Xbox and everything we do. It's actually been pretty fantastic. I don't know if you've gotten a chance to check it out. The Fallout TV show was on Amazon, and it's been great to see people fall in love with that universe, but also what it's done for the games themselves, and people going back and exploring everything that's inside of that. There's some other great things that are coming from our studios later this year.
Our studios later this year? Which ones? The ones that are about to get shut down next?
Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I was a big indie fan growing up. Looks like you were too. So you should check that out.
Indiana Jones for a modern audience. Totally not gonna be woke, DEI, trash, filler, sweet baby death, right?
But really right now for us and our teams, our focus is on the people impacted and doing everything.
Well, then how about you ask your boss Satya, who's got all this fucking money out of these $3 trillion, and ask for an extra like couple billion to support your developers and studios who need the money to stay open.
That we can do to help them through this hard transition.
What you can do to help them through this hard transition is not lay them off
I think
when you got $3 trillion.
one of the things that was most upsetting both to Xbox gamers and to employees is that, one of the shuttered studios in particular just created a hit game, did really well on Game Pass in terms of engagement, and won a ton of awards. Shouldn't succeeding in that way ensure the future of a studio?
One of the things I really love about the games industry is it's a creative art form.
Right.
And it means
But you care about the money, not the creative expression of developers and studios. The money, right?
that the situation and what success is for each game and studio is also really unique. Like there's no one size fits all to it for us.
Yes, there is when you got $3 trillion.
And so we look at each studio.
Activision Blizzard, which was $70 billion, was only 2% of your total value. You got 98% left.
Each game team, and we look at a whole variety of factors when we're faced with sort of making each game team, and we look at a whole variety of factors when we're faced with sort of making decisions and trade-offs like that. But it all comes back to our long-term commitment to the games we create, the device.
Long-term commitment to the games you create. What games, Sarah? If you don't have studios making games, what games?
We build the services.
What devices you build? I mean, you're not building a phone. You have a console. You're servicing PC. You're putting your games on PlayStation and Nintendo devices. The only device you produce right now is an Xbox console in-house. Come on, Sarah.
And ensuring that we're setting ourselves up to be able to deliver on those promises.
Deliver what? You have less studios, so less games are coming, Sarah. What are you delivering?
Talking further about growth, I mean, one of the key focus areas for Xbox in terms of growth, and this was also one of the key bets in the Activision acquisition, was mobile.
Mm-hmm.
What's the Xbox plan for future mobile gaming, and when can we finally see it?
It feels like it's been a long time since we announced the Activision acquisition, which we completed in October. And the whole thesis about that, a lot of why we did it was about mobile. And we felt strongly.
So in other words, you shut down studios that don't have microtransactions because they couldn't be monetized like a mobile game.
That there has been an opportunity for there to be an experience on mobile that is centered around gamers. Like we talk a lot about.
More like centered around whales who will spend money on bullshit microtransactions and go in debt.
There's 3 billion gamers in the world.
Most of those people are not real gamers. They're not interested in video games. They're casuals, Sarah. Look at your face. Like, come on, straight. Come on now. You can't be doing this, Sarah. This is a joke. 3 billion gamers? No, more like 3 billion tourists.
2 of those
Billion play on mobile, and half of those actually
But they're not gamers. They're whales.
play on mobile and they play on another device. But there isn't actually,
If they play on another device that's not mobile and it's a console, they wouldn't be playing on mobile.
a gaming platform
and store experience that is centered around players
Centered around whales.
and goes truly across device, where who you are, your library, your identity, your rewards, that travels with you versus being locked to a single ecosystem. And we've recognized that opportunity for a long time, but we wanted to make sure that anything we built was really grounded in people who play those mobile native games and the creators of them. And so being joined with a team that has real deep expertise in mobile was important to us. But we are that now. And so in July,
If you're that now, and these dog shit mobile games are breaking in fuck tons of money through King, how do you not have the money to support your studios?
we are going to be launching
our mobile store experience. We're going to start actually by bringing our own first party portfolio to that.
What first party if you're shutting studios down?
so you're going to see
Games like Candy Crush,
Candy Crush is not a game, it's a casino.
show up in that experience.
games like Minecraft. And then we're going to extend that capability to partners so that they can also take advantage of it and have a true cross-platform, gaming-centric mobile experience. We're going to start on the web, and we're doing that because that really allows us to have it be an experience
You just mad because Apple said no.
that's accessible across all devices, all countries, no matter what, independent of the policies of, closed ecosystem stores. And then we're going to extend from there. So I'm excited about it just because it's something that we wanted to do for a long time. We've heard gamers talking about it for a long time, and we're now at the point where we can take those steps.
And so,
So you got all this time to care about mobile, but you don't got time to foster studios to develop games for your devices, services, and platforms, like mobile, like console, like PC. So you're shuttering studios who are making games, but because those games are not monetizable post-purchase, you shut them down.
in July when it launches, we at that point at the beginning see Candy Crush and Minecraft in it, or how soon, or
You'll see things roll out over time.
do you know
Yeah.
how soon partners will be able to use it as well?
Our goal is to get partners using it shortly after launch. We really want to make sure we start and we scale.
With what you just did, your storefront's gonna fail. No one is gonna want to support you. You're done. You're not creeping your way into mobile now. You're not getting a chance. No one's gonna work with you because guess what? Why would anyone want to put their dog shit mobile games or even console game or PC game ports onto your mobile storefront if those games can be found elsewhere and people are going to buy them on console or on PC? Like, what? Why would I buy Assassin's Creed Valhalla on my Xbox web app when instead I could buy it on my PC or console through Steam or the Xbox Microsoft Store on console? Come on now. No one's going to want to do that. And if you're not delivering games, nobody's going to want to fucking go to your shitty web store for a bunch of third-party titles. Get over yourself.
Using our own IP first.
What IP? Using our own IP? Like what? Sarah? What IP? Come on now.
That allows us to make sure that the
Experience that we bring partners into really builds on all the quality and learning that we have
Quality and learning. Right.
as a team.
Another
A team of who? Of who, Sarah? A team of who?
big discussion point in the Activision acquisition was cloud gaming and how big that market really was. When will we really see it gain traction? Is it gaining users finally in any particular regions and scenarios? How is it doing? What do people use it for?
Yeah, so
Aww, this is gonna be a hard one for you.
cloud gaming, for those that don't know, I don't know if everyone here in the audience is familiar with it, is just the ability to play a game natively from the cloud. So you don't
It's not native, it's remote.
need to actually have a piece of hardware in your home, and you can experience something that's AAA.
No one cares about dog shit AAA. AAA is on the downturn, Sarah. The AAA scene is dying. Come on, Sarah.
Xbox gaming.
With what games, Sarah?
On any device.
Regardless of the local compute that you have.
Not everyone's internet supports 50 megabytes per second upload and download speeds. Not everyone has 50 megabyte per second download speeds, 25 megabyte upload speeds. Not everyone has top tier internet when they're in the boonies and the sticks.
And we have been investing in that for some time because we really believe that opening up sort of these beautiful immersive experiences.
What experiences are going to be beautiful and immersive if there are no games coming out of first party studios because they're shutting them down?
To more gamers is important.
What are they going to stream to their device where they can't probably get good quality internet to get good, latency, and ping? Come on, Sarah.
For industry growth, for
Industry growth, my ass.
For developers, and we know people want to play those experiences.
Play what experiences?
And we're seeing tremendous growth there. We have more demand than supply in that area.
So in other words, you said fuck everyone that you already had so you can pursue a bunch of whales.
and you'll see us
Rolling out more capacity, introducing more options for people to jump in and play on the cloud.
And is it growing faster than the overall market? We were talking about the market
Yeah,
itself
yeah.
is down. Where is cloud gaming?
It
Where-
is growing faster than the overall market, really bringing in new players and growth for us. So it's an area where we're investing more.
If it's bringing you growth and you're making profit from it and it's successful, how do you have no growth where you have no money to support your studios?
we're excited about.
Earlier this year, Xbox announced
If only you could be excited with all your buddies at Microsoft about keeping your studios around so they can develop good projects and products and, games for your platform that you're trying to promote.
for the first time that it was bringing a slate of Xbox developed games, Xbox exclusive games, to rival platforms, to Sony's PlayStation and Nintendo Switch. That obviously was a big change. It was a little bit unsettling for some of the Xbox hardware fans, but how is it going so far? Do you have any data about how the games are doing? Do PlayStation gamers really want to play Sea of Thieves?
They want to play Sea of Thieves, but they do not give a fuck about no Hi-Fi Rush, Pentiment, or even arguably Grounded. Because if they were, they would have bought them. And if they had bought them, the studios like Tango Gameworks wouldn't have shut down because Hi-Fi Rush is on PS5, and PS5 fanboys have been begging for that game, but they didn't buy that game. Aww.
It's early days.
She knows that they don't want it. They only cared for Sea of Thieves and everything else died.
Yet, so
I don't have specific data to share, but we are really encouraged by the reception of our games.
No, you're disappointed. Only one was a success, and it was the one with the multiplayer that was on the bigger, more powerful console. Switch owners did not buy Grounded. They don't want it. PlayStation owners don't want Grounded. They only wanted Sea of Thieves because of water graphics.
And one thing that I think it's important to note is, as Xbox, we've been putting games on other platforms for a long time. Minecraft is available.
You didn't put Minecraft on other platforms. It was already there when you bought their studio, which might get shut down soon. Who knows?
Well, pretty much universally.
But you didn't put Minecraft on PlayStation. You didn't put Minecraft on Nintendo. You didn't put Minecraft on PC. It was there when you bought Mojang.
The
teams at Bethesda have had games on other platforms.
Bethesda was already multi-plat when you bought them.
Or the teams at Activision.
Activision was already multi-plat when you bought them. You didn't bring anything to new platforms. Except maybe Sea of Thieves, Hi-Fi Rush, Pentiment, and Grounded. Those are the only games that you've ever brought to other platforms, other consoles, Sarah. Come on.
Blizzard have games on other platforms. And so it's a decision we just make on a game-by-game basis as we move forward and continue to execute on our strategy.
So your strategy is shutting down studios after you port them to alternative platforms, competing consoles, and then when you don't sell on those consoles, you scratch your head and go, well, sorry guys, you're all laid off. Honk, honk.
At the same time, we've talked about mobile, we've talked about cloud. Of course, Xbox itself's heritage is in console, and the energy around the console right now is a little challenged. Many of the hardcore long-term customers
because you've abandoned the main base. Look, you can support PC, whatever. You own the PC platform. It's your operating system. Cool, do whatever with PC. But come on now. You're not even supporting your own console. You're splitting your dev teams into console dev teams and PC dev teams. The console dev teams don't even have the time or the ability to get 60 FPS modes in console versions of the games until 8-9 months after they come out. Starfield's now just hitting 60 because of 7 months of time being on the platform, on the storefront. Whereas it was 60 FPS on PC day one if you had the hardware to get good frames. Come on now.
Worried.
You're not even giving your devs the chance to make games go past 30 FPS on day one because they're short-staffed. Come on.
They're worried about the release on other platforms. They're worried that that may indicate that Xbox is defocusing its own hardware.
That is what is happening. They are defocusing the console. Look, the PC is better than the console, but the console still matters because not everyone's going to ever want to go to PC. Some people want a simplified experience, even if it is more expensive and costly. Come on now, Sarah. What you gonna say?
How do you make them feel like Xbox is still for them?
Yeah, first the
Ooh, hesitation in your voice.
Worry
that I see is happening across the industry, and I think
is a lot.
Okay, yeah, PlayStation's moving to PC, but they're only doing that because they're copying you. Everything they do is a copy of you, Microsoft. They're not doing that because, it's the thing to do. They're just doing it because they're copying you. They steal and copy everything you do, Microsoft. Come on now. Nintendo isn't even porting their games to PC yet, so it's not all across the industry. That's a lie.
A lot of what we're seeing, just industry all up. But specific to core gamers, my focus has really been on engineering and building that next generation hardware experience that really.
So in other words, you openly are now admitting you don't care about current gen. You're done with current gen. Congratulations. You could have just said, yeah, we're done with Series X and S. We only care about the next level of hardware. We're done with this current gen. Come on, guys.
Really taps in to their needs.
Taps into what needs? Can you specify? I mean, we gamers, we need games. If you don't have studios to make games, what needs are we getting?
I talked about this a little bit publicly
A few months ago, I talked about how, our focus is on delivering the biggest leap ever.
The biggest leap ever. Congratulations, you can have all the biggest leap in hardware and technology all you want. If you don't have games to support the hardware, no one wants the hardware, Sarah. If you don't have the games, no one will buy the hardware. You need the software to sell the hardware. You need the software to sell the hardware. Look, only 10% of hardware buyers buy because of first-party titles. But that 10% gets people into the door. So then the other 90% of people who have friends who already bought the hardware will buy the hardware in suit. If you don't have the software for the 10% who care, then the other 90% don't show because their friends didn't buy the hardware because no games were on it, Sarah.
And that's about really thinking through every aspect of what that hardware and what that experience.
Again, the hardware can deliver monster performance. It could be an RTX 4080 or an RTX 4090. It doesn't matter. If you don't have the games to get the few percent of people who are loyal enthusiasts, then the rest of the people who will follow behind them, the casual demographic audience and base of games who are not interested in first-party titles, will not follow because they have friends who will buy the hardware for the games. If nobody who is an Xbox enthusiast buys an Xbox, then the people who are the friends of Xbox enthusiasts will not buy an Xbox. You need your core demographic to buy the hardware, so that way their friends and people who are associated with them will buy the hardware too.
With the core gamer in mind. And
the PlayStation Vita failed because there were no games that Sony brought to it. The first-party titles were dry. And when nobody bought the Vita, who was a PlayStation enthusiast, no one who were friends of them bought the Vita. Nintendo, on the Wii U, had nothing but first-party titles backing that system. And only those games held up the Wii U. And even the loyal Nintendo enthusiast base barely showed up. And the ones that did, sorry, but Nintendo console buyers, their casual base only buy a Nintendo console if they're shovelware garbage third-party games. Wii U did not have shovelware trash third-party titles, so Wii U failed. Wii succeeded so Wii U could fail. The Switch is successful because Nintendo's first-party titles are casual-oriented. They're built for the casual demographic. And the Switch is packed to the brim with fucking shovelware trash. Trash. And so the Switch is successful like the DS and the Wii. Nintendo consoles only sell on third-party and casual-oriented games. Xbox and PlayStation sells if the main audience, the main demographic, the hardcore enthusiast buys the box. You're making PlayStation and Xbox enthusiasts abandon console and move to PC. And that's not a bad thing. But come on. You aren't going to sell hardware to people who don't care, Sarah. They're not going to care if they don't have the games to play on the hardware and with the performance and the options that they want to play at. if they're not getting 60 FPS day one because the console dev teams don't have the manpower to pack it in day one, and they're getting 30 FPS at launch, and they gotta wait like 9 months before 60 FPS is birthed into existence, they're gonna move to PC for 60 frames. They're gonna move to PC for better graphics, better options, free online. You're killing the devices that you're trying to sell to these customers, these consumers that you think are gonna buy this shit. If Xbox's console sales are roughly going to be 60 million every generation, then what we're talking here is you need 6 million Xbox console enthusiasts, 10% of the console base, to buy the box, and then the rest of the people who want to play with them, who are their friends, will follow suit. But they're not gonna buy your box if there's no games worth playing.
And that is about power and performance. That's absolutely part of it. But it's also about the ability to be able to play all of the games. I mean, maybe
What games? Play all of the games. What the games? Third-party games that are on PlayStation, Switch, and PC? Like, that's cool. Great games can show up in third-party, but there are a select few of people who want first-party, who pursue first-party. You're going to kill off your 10% console base because you're not providing them first-party titles that make them buy the hardware.
we have people who've been playing on Xbox for decades, have invested thousands
Well, they're gonna be gone soon. Goodbye, I guess, because you're not gonna literally keep them around at this rate.
Thousands of dollars
and hours with us, and to be able to take all of those games with them into the
Old games they've already played, like back compat titles. Okay, cool. Backwards compatibility is great. It's an amazing feature. It should be an industry standard across the board. So that way evil, scummy corpse can't keep selling you the same shit over and over again. Great. But like back compat titles? What about the new titles? Oh, right. What new titles? Again, what new titles, Sarah?
hardware of the future.
The hardware of the future playing 50-year-old games, because there won't be new games released in that era where the Xbox has been out for 50 years. Because you won't be releasing games because you're shutting down your studios, right? I'm so ready by like 2050 to play 2001 original Xbox games and have no new titles to look forward to on this 2050 console. Thank you, Sarah. Congratulations. Wow, what a great selling point.
So one of the decisions I made when I came in and became president of Xbox was to establish a team dedicated to that, to game preservation and
Okay, cool. Again, game preservation is great. Backwards compatibility is awesome. What about new titles? If you're preserving old shit and it's already been preserved, but you're not making new titles no more, then you have the same library every generation of old ass shit. So we're gonna be in 2035 with like the 11th generation of consoles, and we're still gonna be playing Xbox One games and PS4 titles. Like what are we doing? Like, no new games from first party gonna release on PlayStation 6 or next gen Xbox. We gotta wait till PS7 to then also experience the PS6 and the 11th gen Xbox to experience the 6th gen the 10th gen Xbox. Come on now.
ensuring that future generations, future iterations, that you get to take those things with you.
In other words, we're not making new games. Go back and play old shit because that's all we're doing now.
forward.
The next part of that is saying, okay, I get to bring those games with me. I'm invested in those games. I get an incredible
Damn, that's a lot of
high
sweat you're
performance
producing.
experience
There.
on my
Damn, sweaty.
But
Holy shit, got that sweat.
also continuing our commitment to make sure that gamers can bring their games with them wherever they want to play.
That's cool. I would love to be able to natively download and play my original Xbox digital titles original original Xbox, Xbox 360, maybe even Xbox One and Xbox Series X/S digital titles on PC and other places, native downloads. That's cool. I'd love to be able to get a handheld that can play Xbox 360 games officially. That's great. But what does that have to do with selling new hardware with new titles? Who's going to go back and buy a new box to play old games if their old box they have right now, their current box, already plays those old games? Yes, the industry has made it very clear now that people are playing old games over new ones. Over 60% of games that have been played in 2023, yeah, they were from like an average of 9 years ago. But the whole idea is that you're trying to promote a new box when the new box is going to have the same shit as the old box. So why make the new box when you could focus on working on the box you got?
That my Xbox library is something.
The box you got will play the same shit as the new one. All that old shit can be preserved, but what's the point? No one's going to buy the new box if the new box has all of the same shit as the old box. No PlayStation 4 owner is going to buy a PS5 if every PS5 game goes to PS4, or every Xbox Series game goes to Xbox One. Why not stick with your PS4 or Xbox One? What are we doing, Sarah? What are we doing?
That I can enjoy with others.
So our long-term commitment to cross-play is part of that, and our commitment to cross-progression and cloud saves, so you can pick up on one device and you can play on another, is part of that. And also our investments in cloud gaming, which you referenced earlier. A lot of
No one's going to support cloud gaming because no one wants to support a service where you don't own shit. At the bare minimum, people will support digital. When you start shoving stream-only bullshit on them, you're gonna get Google Stadia. Come on now.
those who use cloud gaming are people who own a console. They're just, they want to play it on another device and go somewhere else. So that's the second piece.
That's nice and all, but you're devaluing the current box you got, promoting a new one, saying, hey guys, get the new box. But the one you currently have, you're not doing shit with, and you don't care about.
And then the last piece is about Game Pass. We know our core users love Game Pass.
They're mostly freeloaders who don't buy fucking games, not like I do. I buy games. I don't use Game Pass, Sarah, to play games off the subscription. I buy the games. I get the perks from Game Pass. I get the rewards points when I purchase stuff from Game Pass. The 20-to-1 per dollar. 20 points per dollar spent. I use Game Pass to play online on the console. I do not use Game Pass to play games released on Game Pass. If I want to play the game, I'll buy the damn game when I'm ready to play it. I have over 1,200 games I purchased on my digital library, Sarah, on my console alone. I do not need Game Pass to play the games. The problem that you don't understand with Game Pass is you have freeloaders. What you need to do, and it's going to be fucked up, you need to shut down the conversion of Game Pass Core to Game Pass Ultimate. People are abusing the system to get 3 years of Game Pass Ultimate off of 3 years of Core and then upgrading. You're not making money from Game Pass, so come on, you gotta shut down the conversion. Now, next, you also what? You gotta maybe like delay the release of your first-party titles by like 2 months before they hit Game Pass now. So that way you can at least get sales on the games, and then the people who would be willing to buy the games will, and the freeloaders who aren't will then go and play it when it finally hits Game Pass. Like, yeah, you're not currently making money off Game Pass. Or if you're gonna put your game on Game Pass day one, your first party titles, what you could do, you can lock it to a 3-hour trial and then say, hey, you get to experience 3 hours of the game, and then after that, after the first month of being out, then you can play the full release without having to worry about the trial. That way you don't cannibalize game sales. People who get to play for 3 hours and they like the game, they'll buy it if they've got the money. And then they'll have the game, and then the freeloaders who will wait will just wait. I mean, come on, like, you're basically giving people the ability to pirate games in a way that's worse than actually pirating games, because the people who pirate games were never going to buy your game in the first place. The people who are paying for Game Pass are able to or are capable of paying for the games, but you're not giving them a reason to do so. So now you're crying about, we're not making money, Sarah. We're not making money. But you're not making money because you're cannibalizing your own sales by putting your titles day one in full on your service. And if you want, you could take a long Bethesda game that's like a 40-50 hour game, maybe a Starfield, and what you can do is you can make it a 10-hour trial, and Hellblade 2 could be a 2-hour trial. And you can base the trial length based on the length of the full game, so you can ease the player into playing the game, and then you can then tell them, hey, if they're willing to wait, they can come back a month after for the full release, and then they can buy the game outright then and there if they like the game and want to continue to play. In other words, you need to turn Game Pass into an early access trial system for people who are willing to play the game day one. They get to trial the game out for several hours, and then if it grew on them, they can buy the game right then and there and continue to play. Or if they want to be bum freeloaders who don't want to spend the extra money because they're losers and want to take advantage of the fucking cheap $17 a month sub, they can wait a month. They'll come back. That'll also then keep their sub active for that extra month. If they want to come back that month, they got to make sure that they keep that sub up for that next month. Come on now. You're a $3 trillion company and you can't even figure this shit out.
It's a gaming subscription. You get a whole portfolio of games, but importantly, you get every single one of our games that we build day one in Game Pass. And the quality and the breadth of those games has only been going up over time, and you're going to see some more really big games going into Game Pass later this year.
From Activision's.
What big games? Okay, so you release those games that you have from your studios that are around now. Then what? What, you're going to shut them down after if they don't make enough money? And then what? Then you won't have new games. So you're banking on these new games right now, shipping and selling units to expect hopefully some growth. And if you don't get shit, what, you're packing up your bags? That's it, right? You're going to... Activision Blizzard fails, Bethesda fails with Indiana Jones. What, you're going to shut down Bethesda? You're going to shut down Bethesda? You're going to shut down the studio behind the woke Indiana Jones game?
Across the whole slate, you're going to see some really...
A smaller portion of the whole slate. The whole leftover slate. The 7 slices out of the 8 slices of the pie, right?
Amazing things.
And keeping that is something that is really special for Xbox players.
But you're not keeping that because you're shutting your studios down. You're literally not making no sense. How can you say trying to keep that, but killing off your own studios? So what are you keeping that as of?
It's essential for us.
It's not essential because you're shutting the studios down, so clearly it's not essential. If you have $3 trillion of value and you got all that fucking money and only 2% of it was spent on Activision Blizzard, the acquisition, and you got all this extra fucking money and shit, how do you not have money to keep your development studios open? It's not essential to you. You don't care at Microsoft.
The focus at this conference today has been AI, but
AI is going to replace everyone's jobs. This is why they shut the studio down too. Come on now.
AI for gamers is a little different than we talk about AI for the enterprise or for
healthcare. Where do you think AI will be important, both to
That look was like, oh man, you know how many people we can lay off once AI takes off and it's really good? Oh man. Oh, the amount of people we can lay off. Oh, them jobs are gonna be gone, and we can replace them people with robot AIs and voices, and we can pay people to use their likenesses of their voice and give them a residual lifetime check for their families and compensation, and then we don't actually have to like have people no more. Oh, the robot overlord future looks so good at Microsoft.
players and to game developers, and how's Microsoft invest?
Oh, robot daddy, take me. Ooh, show me your rod. I want to experience the piston, Mr. Robot AI Daddy.
Yeah.
I didn't hear all the talks.
Oh, she's so flustered of Mr. T800's rod. Oh, it's so nice and hard. It's always stiff.
Today, but I think
Oh, she's so ready for Skynet.
we can all confidently say that we are right at the beginning of what AI means for us.
Oh, we're right at the beginning of what AI means for us. The beginning of a relationship.
a society,
And for businesses in general, and that's absolutely true in gaming as well. For us, we take our responsibility around AI as Microsoft very seriously and being really, really thoughtful about what we do. And
We're being thoughtful of how we can replace all of these studios, all of these creative artists, including the woke ones and the trash freaks in our studios. Yeah, they're bad ones, but we're going to use AI responsibly to replace all of them. All the good ones and all the bad ones.
Xbox, there's something really unique
And the
about
woke
being
ones.
a gaming company that is part of a major AI company. And so all of our focus within our team is about how we ensure that gaming AI is really crafted in a way that delivers unique and delightful experiences to players.
You know what would be unique and delightful to a player? A game to play. A game worth buying your hardware you want to promote so badly. Yeah, exclusives don't matter, but first-party titles do matter, even if they're multi-plat. Even if you're going to go full third-party, if you're not pumping out your own games, but your competitors are, and you've got nothing to offer but other third-party titles that your competitors also have, then you ain't got shit and no one wants to buy your box. What's the point if you don't have your own first-party titles to entice your own users to your ecosystem? Even if you're going to make those first-party titles third-party releases, you aren't producing nothing yourselves. You are Microsoft, a software company, not producing software. But your competitor, Sony, who's a hardware company, is producing software. Shit movie cutscene button mash stealth trash software that doesn't even barely qualify as video games, but they're still producing software. Nintendo's producing software. Nintendo's not even a hardware or software company, they're a toy company. And the toy company producing software, and the hardware company producing software. But you, the software company, not producing software. If you continue to go down this road, Sarah, if you, when your fellow executives continue to kill off first-party studios, you won't have software to push the hardware you keep claiming you care so much about getting in people's homes.
And adds real value for developers.
At the end of the day, a PC player is not going to switch over to the Xbox app unless there's something valuable on there. They're just going to stick with Steam. The Nintendo Switch owner, or the Switch 2 device owner, or a PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 6 owner isn't going to buy your console or really a PC to play your games if your games are coming to their consoles. Well, what left of them, that is, that are coming from your leftover first-party studios until potentially, more likely than not, more get shut down again. So when you stop running out of games to produce, then you don't have any of your games going over to other like consoles or platforms, except maybe Call of Duty and Minecraft. And is that really all you're going to have left? Come on now. Call of Duty and Minecraft, that's all you're going to have?
So there's three things we look at as part of that. The first is around developer velocity. How do we give developers tools to make it
The tools that you can give to devs is to not close their studios.
easier for them?
Easier for them means not laying them off and use some of that Microsoft $3 trillion to support them.
To realize their
Creation.
To realize their creation is to allow them to create games and not get shut down because it didn't make you enough money when you already have enough money in your company.
to
Speed up iteration cycle.
Speed up iteration cycles. Well, you could have had a Hi-Fi Rush 2, maybe, if you didn't shut down Tango Gameworks, who made Hi-Fi Rush 1. Maybe instead of Tango Gameworks taking 5 years, 3 to 5 years to make Hi-Fi Rush 2, now your leftover studios, if you even have the time for them to squeeze in between their existing projects to make a Hi-Fi Rush 2, now we're talking like a 10-year development. Thank you, Sarah. Because you laid off one studio and incorporated them into another studio that's making other shit. They're barely going to have the time now to squeeze in a different project on the side because of what they're doing here. If Tango gets absorbed into Treyarch, Tango's not making Hi-Fi Rush 2. Tango's making that next year Treyarch Call of Duty. When Vicarious Visions got absorbed into the Call of Duty dev studios, they stopped making Tony Hawk's Pro Skater and they went to making Call of Duty.
And also, frankly, to make it easier for people who may not have as much in-depth training on game development to build a game.
So in other words, we're opening the doors to a bunch of losers who don't care about video games, aren't interested in video games, and literally have no talent or qualification. So DEI, basically. DEI. Hey guys, we're going to literally hire a bunch of people who don't know what the fuck they're doing. And we're gonna have those weirdos who literally have no talent or knowledge or experience in this field. We're gonna have them replace the people that we laid off, who, yes, arguably, maybe some of them were already woke psychopaths, DEI lunatics as is now, but we're gonna replace all of them with even more extreme lunatics. So, we're literally going full DEI. We're replacing all of our dev teams with, like, people who literally don't play video games, don't know how to make games, don't know how code works. We're just gonna hire a plumber to produce a video game. We're gonna hire a dentist to sit there and type code. We're going to hire a janitor to design 3D models. That janitor totally has the artistic capabilities to do concept art right.
We know that with that, there's just going to be a huge proliferation of gaming content and
like nonsense that's like politically driven, drivel garbage, and identity politics trash. Like, I mean, you're talking about hiring people who literally do not have any association with game development or even have any association with video games, who don't even play video games. Like, this is what we are talking about right now, Sarah. People who are like you, like your buddy Satya Nadella, your corporate executives who do not play video games, Jim Ryan, who does not play video games. Like, what are we talking about? A bunch of people who are not gamers creating games for people who are gamers? Is this not what, like, literally brought about Gamergate? A bunch of tourists and people who are not a part of the culture and the hobby invading our space? So you're going to bring in more of those people, Sarah?
options out there. So that
I bet you, Sarah, potentially might be a DEI hire yourself. I mean, you haven't said nothing valuable to the discussion here this whole time.
leads us very naturally to the next layer where we're investing a lot, which is around discovery and making sure.
Discovery? Discover what? What are we discovering, Sarah? What are we discovering? Discovery? Come on now, discovery?
that
People can really be matched with the game experience that we know that they'll love.
That we know that they'll love. Who are you to tell gamers what they love and do not love? It's the gamer to decide for themselves if they like a game and if they want to play it. If they buy a game they don't like, they put it down, and maybe there's a chance in the future they'll come back to it. Who are you to try to dictate and curate games for others? Like, games are a self-explorative, like, medium. They don't need you telling them what games they want or what they are looking for. They don't need you to tell them, hey, this is the game you will like. That's not what gaming's about. You can shove Hellblade 2 in someone's face. If someone doesn't like Hellblade 2, you can tell them all you want. This is the game you will like. Trust us. Uh-huh.
And that a whole range of creations can be discovered from the biggest game.
What range of creations, though, if you have less studios and devs? If you're killing off your studios and devs, what creations? Again, third-party titles by, other companies and publishers and studios that you're not directly in control of are going to be the games that you're going to be promoting. I mean, and then what? You're going to go buy them when they stop putting their games on your platform because your platform is slowly dying off. And then what you're going to do when you buy those other studios, you're going to then start shutting down more studios again. So this is the cycle now. You kill off your studios by eliminating the developers who are making games for you. Then when other third-party devs abandon your platform, you buy them because you don't want to miss out. Then when you buy them and you assimilate them, you shut them down and then go, oh no, the platform's dying even more. Let's buy another studio because we're running out of games to ship. We're short on games to pack into Game Pass, guys. We don't know why we keep losing all these games to put in the service. We don't know why we need to keep buying more publishers and more studios. We can't fathom the reason why we are running out of content and we have to keep buying more content by buying companies. It's so complicated. We can't figure it out.
But also from something novel and new that you may not have intuitively known to look for, but you're going to love if you
Oh, you're gonna love, right? Right.
experience it.
Well, love what? And then if there's anything there to love, who are you to say that they're gonna love it? You're They don't love it now if they're not buying your games. They don't love PlayStation's first-party games either, which is why Sony's going to PC. They don't love the games. They're not making enough money, right? And you don't love those studios either because you're shutting them down. Much
And then
love, right?
The last piece is around the actual experience in the game. Engagement, delight, playing through and having a fun time, not
Well, they can't have fun in a game if there's not a game to play. If there's not a game to play that you're shipping to make your subscription service valuable, no one subs to Game Pass for garbage, doo-doo indies, and shovelware. Most of the bulk in Game Pass is dog shit games that are indie trash. People only sub to Game Pass for first-party Xbox titles, AA titles, occasionally an indie title, or like some like obscure, like, AAA game or something, or even like an RPG like a Persona title or something, or an Atlas game. People aren't buying Game Pass to play fucking Turnip Boy, Sarah. You're literally killing off the value for your subscription that people would pay for. You don't get it. They're not gonna love the game because they're not gonna pay for the subscription to play the games on the service, because you don't have the games to make the service valuable. This is the issue.
getting stuck, all the things that come with that, so that you can get really the most out of the game experience. So we are early in this, as I said. You'll see us share things, and things will come out during the course of the year.
Oh yeah, things will come out, but this might be the last year things will come out, right? Because if these things come out and they don't sell to your expectations and they don't print money and you shut their studios down next, what comes out next after that? You want to probably elaborate on that, Sue.
Our focus just really continues to be on keeping player at the center, keeping the developer at the center, and
keeping the player at the center. But the player is going to leave if the subscription is worth less in value because less content's going into the service, because there's no developers and studios to produce the content to upkeep the service. And you're not keeping the developer in mind if you're laying them off when you have $3 trillion in value in assets.
how AI turns up in gaming.
So you're just going to beg the AI to produce garbage, makeshift games, right? This is what we're going to do. We're going to tell the AI, please make a game for us. And then the AI is going to be like, here's a Turnip Boy third game clone.
Xbox President Sarah Bond, thank you so
All
much
right.
for your time.
Fucking embarrassing.
Please welcome to the stage.
Embarrassment. It's embarrassing. Ah, what a shame. Yup. Nothing but PR. It'd be that way. Do I not have screen? Oh, fuck. Really? I didn't have none of the visuals on screen? Oh. Do I have to do fucking editing? Oh, jeez.